Welcome into the Seattle Seahawks Today. I am Tom Downey. Today's show presented by the Fetch Rewards app. Download it for free at chatsports.com/fetch. Use promo code Seahawks for 3,000 bonus points on the app. Lets you scan any receipt for points you can then redeem for gift cards. Now, if you want a shout out on a future video, type in a Y for yes in the comment section. L if you don't because you're lame. And stay tuned for later on in the video for how you can earn that shout out. But first, we want to break down the Seahawks coaching staff. It appears to be finalized and fully complete. We'll begin with the coaches who are returning, beginning, of course, with head coach and executive VP in his title as well, Pete Carroll. There were some rumors midseason, but he's back. Shane Waldron back for year 2 as the offensive coordinator. Chad Morton is the running backs coach and running game coordinator. Pat McPherson and John Glenn remain tight ends coach and linebackers coach, respectively. Larry Izzo is the special teams coordinator. Now, there are also some new hirings/promotions. Dave Canales is the QB's coach, back in that role after having a different one in the past. Sanjay Lal is the new wide receivers coach, coming over from Jacksonville. Andy Dickerson has been promoted to the full offensive line coach. That is a clear Shane Waldron decision from my standpoint. Clint Hurtt has been promoted to defensive coordinator. He will retain his defensive line coaching duties. Sean Desai, the former Bears head coach, is the new associate head coach with a focus, of course, on Bears defensive coordinator. My bad. That was his old role. Now he's the associate head coach, defensive focused in Seattle. Aaron Curry, yes, Aaron Curry, the former bust draft pick by Seattle, is the new defensive ends coach. And Carl Scott, who was once viewed as a quick riser in the college ranks from the jump to the NFL, he's in as the DB's coach. So coming up in a little bit, I'm going to grade all of the new hires and promotions for Seattle this year. But before we give my thoughts, I want to hear from you guys. Grade the Seahawks 2022 coaching staff. A, B, C, D, or F. This is the pinned comment on today's video. So if you get the ad break here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know how you feel about this coaching staff in 2022. All right, coach by coach here, Dave Canales. I'm going to give it a B. He's had that role before. I kind of thought he was better in that role. We've seen Russell Wilson have success with him at QB, so I'm not going to complain that much. Sanjay Lal is not one that I love. He's going to do, by the way, some weird stuff with his receivers carrying bricks because that makes them drop passes less. I don't really get it. Didn't love him when he was Dallas receivers coach. Didn't love him in Jacksonville. So, but remember, the position coaches don't impact things that much. Give Andy Dickerson a B here as well. I'm going to trust Shane Waldron from that perspective in terms of the offensive line coach. Clint Hurtt, I don't love as the DC. There were some bigger names out there. If he uses Jamal Adams better, I'll be much happier about it, but I'm not sold on that hire. I do love Sean Desai. I had made him the DC outright. Like that's how good of a job I think he did with the Bears last year. This is one of the best position coach or non-coordinator hires I think any NFL team had this offseason. That's how highly I think of it. Aaron Curry, former player. Hey, look, he's a defensive ends coach. It doesn't matter all that much, but he's been on the staff in a smaller capacity in the past. I also think the Carl Scott hire as DB's coach was pretty darn good as well. So I don't love Clint Hurtt as the DC, but I think Desai and Scott involved with the offense or the defense is a pretty good move. I wasn't sure they could get both of them. Well, they did in the end. So who was your favorite hire this offseason? I'm going Sean Desai, but of course I want to hear from you guys. Let me know in the comment section which of the new coaching hires/promotions was your favorite this offseason. Now today's show, like I mentioned, powered by the Fetch Rewards app. Download it at chatsports.com/fetch. Use the app to scan any receipt or link it to your Amazon account to rack up points for whatever you buy from wherever. Free download at chatsports.com/fetch. The Amazon linking, by the way, that's how you really rack up those points because if you're like me, you use Amazon all the time. Link it and make your life a little bit easier. Remember, you get 3,000 bonus points when you use promo code Seahawks at chatsports.com/fetch. And if you want that shout out, Here's how you can get one on a future video. Screenshot your Fetch Rewards page, then tag me or DM it to me on Twitter at WhatGoingDowney. Every person who does that, we're going to hook you up with a shout-out on an upcoming Seahawks video. So the promo code Seahawks, the URL, chatsports.com/fetch, and my Twitter handle at WhatGoingDowney will all be in the comment section and the description of today's video. Let's move now to free agency rumors on Seattle. Could Seattle go sign Christian Kirk? Bleacher Report went through and listed the top 25 free agents, the top free agents under 25 years old, Kirk was number 9 on that list, with Seattle listed as the best fit in free agency. Their argument was there wasn't much production outside of DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. Here's what BR's Christopher Knox wrote, quote, "The Seahawks should be high on Kirk as a slot target after not getting much out of the 2021 second-round pick Dwayne Eskridge this past year. The WMU product appeared in 10 games, caught 10 of 20 targets for 64 yards and a touchdown. Adding Kirk, who caught a career-high 74.8% of his targets between perimeter receivers DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, would give Seattle one of the most dangerous receiving trios in the NFC. It might also help quarterback Russell Wilson feel better about his chances of success in Seattle next season. Kirk is coming off a career year. He almost got to 1,000 yards for the first time ever. It was a true breakout campaign for the young receiver for Arizona. I have thoughts on this, though. I don't know if Seattle needs Kirk. I'm not out on D. Eskridge quite yet. I think he can still be a good player for you in the NFL. In fact, for what Kirk, I think, will end up costing, I would rather invest in a premier tight end. I think that would benefit Seattle more than adding an admittedly very, very good young slot receiver. So I say pass. Rather go spend money on a big-time tight end. What do you guys have to say, though? Type in S for sign or type in P for pass. Folks, Seahawks Today has the best videos out there on everything going on around the Seattle Seahawks. Oh, by the way, it's free. And if you like free, you've come to the right spot. Hit that big red button and subscribe today. Now, more on the Seahawks and Kirk idea again. I think Eskridge, I'm not out on Eskridge. I know he had a bad year. He was injured for a good portion of it. I know Seattle's draft track history has not been great as of late. But Eskridge offers you what I think Shane Waldron wants in a receiver. And this is not anti-Christian Kirk propaganda, by the way. If, for example, Lockett was on your team, thank God he is not going anywhere, as I ranted about before, I would have interest in Christian Kirk. But I would feel fine with Lockett, Metcalf, and a tight end being the path to pursue instead. How about defense now? You go sign Dante Fowler. The Falcons cut Fowler early on Wednesday. They could have waited till his deal voided. They said, nah, we'll just let you go right now. Fowler's been an up-and-down player in his NFL career. He's shown flashes of greatness since being an early first-round pick, and also not great flashes. And Seattle's pass rush was inconsistent this past year. Here's my issue. Inconsistent is the name of Dante Fowler's game. 2017, 7 tackles for loss, 8 sacks with the Jags. 2019, 16 tackles for loss, 11.5 sacks with the Los Angeles Rams. The other 4 years of his career, 21 TFLs in total, 15.5 sacks. Those 2 years combined are way better than the other 4 years in his NFL career. Because of that, I've only got interest in Fowler if he's cheap. If he would sign a 1-year, couple million max deal, okay, I'm not going to complain about that. I ain't going to break the bank for him because I don't know if he fixes my edge rushing issues in the end. I really don't. I know Rasheem Green's a free agent. I might actually have more interest in just retaining Green. I want to play more Darrell Taylor than Carlos Dunlap. I would just roll with Benson Mayowa and Dunlap and Robinson cheaper than Dante Fowler. So, again, I think interior pass rush is where you're really lacking right now in Seattle. But if he's cheap, I can get on board with that. So what do you guys think? Do you want Seattle to take a chance on Dante Fowler? Type in 1 for yes or 2 for no.